The title of tonight's session is all about market eminence. Build your market eminence, differentiate and elevate and dominate your speaker brand. And that's what it is all about. Rather than give you a big, long, stretched out, boring timeline of who I am and what I've done, I put this all on one slide. Started this crazy business in 2002, clueless, broke, stuck. 2006, I finally figured out what to do. Yes, that's right. 4 years. 4 years it took me to figure that out. 2008, figured out who to do it for. 2014, earned my certified speaking professional. And then 2017, qualified to join the NSA Million Dollar Speakers Group. The alternative title for this slide is If I Can Do It, You Can Too. Because I was so clueless, broke, stuck. I made all the mistakes in the book. I made the good ones twice. Fast forward now, 23 years. You don't have to make the same mistakes, whether you're just starting out in your career, whether you're a mid-career speaker, whether you're a CSP, whether you're in the Speaker Hall of Fame like Bill Stainton. You could be at this for 2 months, 2 years, 25 years. There's going to be something that you can use tonight, today, to help you elevate and escalate your progress in a way shorter timeline than it took me. Now, there will be an interactive portion, not only after this with the implementation lab, but also during this. So I need your buy-in. I need your agreement that life rewards action. Life rewards action. In fact, if I were to say anything about this timeline, the only thing that generated some of this success, if not all of it, is that I just kept going into action. I kept implementing. I kept changing. I think in the speaking business especially, in the expert business especially, a wrong decision is better than no decision. So any time that you spend in your business in hesitation is a moment that is wasted, an audience that you could have served, a client that you could have helped, or money that you could have made. I mentioned right before we got rolling that this actually is from my new book, and John very kindly mentioned my previous books, which are Do It Marketing, Do It Speaking, Do It Selling. Everything we're talking about tonight is from my new book called Market Eminence. And I'm going to give you the highlights, the nuggets, and the filet mignon, the three biggest, most impactful strategies that you could possibly work on to help you elevate and dominate and differentiate your speaker brand. So I will tell you, as far as action creates results, just some very, very quick. I'm not bragging on me. I'm bragging on my amazing clients. Much thanks for the support. I know I haven't been on calls for 3 weeks, but I closed 92K in business in the last 4 weeks. Maybe absence makes the wallet grow fatter. And then we have, I quoted a fee to a prospect that was 5 times higher than I would normally quote. And the prospect said, "That's perfect." My sales team started using David's It's a Green Light from me. I got a 15K contract the next day. Just emailed the biggest consulting proposal to date. In my head, I kept hearing, price it for what it's worth, not what you think they'll pay. That was hard, but I finally pressed send. Now there's no turning back. Took a while, just landed my first high fee client at 4 times my previous rate. Just landed a 4-month training, coaching, and consulting gig for $33,500. I like that she says, have a nice weekend on that one. Feeling pretty darn good about a 75K month this month, far exceeding any other month for some time. This person landed, she was doing like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 keynotes. And I told her kindly that she was insane. And given her experience, expertise, and background, she should be an $18,000 speaker. So just got the contract and NDA for the first company, agreeing to an $18,500 for a 60-minute keynote. I don't even have words to adequately thank you, but she does have the check. And then amazing 2023. Thanks for everything, David. 3 months in, $234,000 booked, $92,000 in the bank. That's crazy. I'm so excited about 2023. I can't even get my head around what's possible for me yet, but it's going to be fabulous. And then finally, closed on a 39K leadership program. I've never been close to this number. I just followed the system. So when I say action, life rewards action. And of course, action creates results. That's what I'm talking about. So if you act on what we're here talking about tonight, similar results, similar impact, similar growth, and some things that you probably thought either were not possible or were not possible in the next 6, 12, 24 months. That your business would go from 100K to 300K, 300K to 700K, 500K to a million, whatever. Oh, that's not possible for me. You do some of these changes that we're talking about tonight, and it goes from possible to probable, and maybe even from probable to inevitable. And that is my goal for you. So the big question that we're here to answer is, what does it take to get you, your product, your service, your speaking, your platform, your brand, anything that you're working on. I work with some nonprofit people, I work with some consulting firms, I work with some professional services firms. But what does it take to get you and your organization or your cause or your brand noticed in a very noisy world? And I've come up, my answer to that question is this concept of market eminence, which is a combination of visibility and respect and brand preference. Take those three building blocks together, and that makes a market eminence enchilada. So what does that mean? Visibility means I see you. You know, people say, well, folks don't buy speakers or experts sight unseen. So our first job is to get seen. The second thing is the way that we show up. We have to have X-ray vision into our clients' and audience's souls. So when they see that LinkedIn post, when they get that email, when they see your speaker video, when they read something on your website, they stop and they go, oh my gosh, I felt like you were talking to me. I felt like you were writing to me. You get me. And then brand preference is the third piece of this, where you work really hard to differentiate and distinguish yourself from what I call the same old lame-o speakers, the people who are completely interchangeable, where they just look like one of the crowd. And if you get the brand preference piece right, here is our goal. Brand preference means not only are you the smartest choice, but you are actually the safest choice. This is very important. Jot this down if you're taking notes. Not just the smartest choice, also the safest choice. So it actually ends up looking risky, dangerous, and dumb to hire anyone else. Let me repeat that. You need to position things so that it's risky, dangerous, and dumb for them to hire anyone other than you. And that is what true market eminence is about. So what's the opposite of market eminence? Well, it's obscurity. It's that same old lame-o, plain vanilla blending into the crowd. And another way to ask this question is, how can you truly stand out to be seen, respected, and preferred? Now, the good news is the bar is low, because anyone who hasn't worked with me, anyone who is not watching this presentation right now, is probably doing it wrong. They're probably doing it wrong. And did my slides just disappear?
Yes, they did.
My slides just disappeared. That's too bad. Let's bring them back. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, hold on.
Was somebody getting naked? People, don't get naked when I'm talking. Do not get naked. What is going on? Oh my Lord! I was warned about this Northwest.
Well,
chapter.
Bill took off his tie, so maybe
I was warned about. I was warned about you, Northwest
the only reason
people.
to wear an actual tying tie so that you can get this look.
Thank you, Dr. Stainton. I appreciate the costume change, and I appreciate the costume initially.
All right.
So what I was saying is everyone's doing this wrong, and the bar is low. Good news, the bar is low for you to exceed their expectations. Ordinarily, the top 5% of any market, any company, any speaker, any consulting firm, any company of any kind, the top 5% are the rock stars, the category kings, the dominant brands, right? Those are the ones that have the market eminence. 95% of your competition is in that Me Too. So there's market eminence, ME, versus Me Too. Get it? ME versus Me Too. So you're just one of the crowd. You're blending in. You're easily interchangeable with other people who either do what you do or, danger, 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 who look like they do what you do. You are obviously cooler, better, faster, smarter, more integrity, deliver more value, but from the outside, they can't tell. So if they can't tell, then we lose the game. So here's the problem. The problem is that we're sometimes just waiting for the phone to ring. We have no market authority. You are doing great work in obscurity, meaning that your clients and people who know you, love you, rehire you, recommend you to whatever extent they can, but the rest of the world knows nothing about who you are or what you do. Less able and less able competitors are hogging the spotlight. People who don't deliver your value, your quality of work, your awesomeness of presentation, speaking, expertise, content, insights, ideas. So if you're an author, and almost everyone here I'm sure is an author, or soon will be if you're not already, there are books that are way dumber than yours that have sold tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of copies more. So remember, my friends, when it comes to books, it's called a bestseller. It's not called a best writer. A best-selling book is not necessarily the best written book on that topic. And so that's what I mean by competitors hog the spotlight. Flipping this on its head, imagine if you could open the floodgates and literally reverse all those problems. So now you're earning the recognition, respect, and raving fans that you deserve, even if people have never given you money. Even if they're not a current client, even if they weren't personally referred, you are building this market eminence in an arena where new people and new business can come your way. And so who are you impacting this way? Prospects, clients, partners, media. If you're building a company, you're building a saleable asset like a coaching company or a training company, top talent wants to come work for you. The bureaus start to recognize you and they'll start to take your call when you do call them. And meeting professionals, association executives, corporate meeting planners, corporate folks that want you to come in and help their team, help their leadership, help their company. That is when you have arrived. That is the definition of market eminence. So those are the symptoms of market eminence once we solve all of those market obscurity problems. So I want to give you just a 2-minute history lesson. Some of you are old enough to remember some of these, and some of you are, you're just babies, and it's okay. That's why I'm here, because I'm an old fart and I can tell you these things. So the whole concept of a business leader, a CEO, being a mainstream celebrity did not exist. It did not exist until the 1970s. In the 1970s, the chairman of Chrysler, Lee Iacocca, turned the company around, and he had the crazy idea to write a book. And so he is the original celebrity CEO. This book sold millions and millions and millions of copies. Lee Iacocca became one of the most highly paid speakers back in the 1970s and 1980s, and he was the CEO of a company. So this concept of a business celebrity. We had celebrities and we had business people, but before Lee Iacocca, we never had business celebrities. That wasn't a thing. No Jeff Bezos, no Elon, no Oprah, nobody. So then, of course, all the big companies followed suit. So the CEO of Xerox and the CEO of eBay and the CEO of American Express, they all wrote books in the last little bit of time here. Even smaller companies, mid-market companies, started to gather onto this trend of the CEO/founder business celebrity. So 37 Signals, Nasty Gal, Stonyfield Yogurt, Gary Hirschberg. This is now a thing, right? This is now a thing. If we borrow from their playbook, what are they doing to become business celebrities that we, as speakers and experts, could be doing? The answer, again, is market eminence. I just want to throw a definition up here of this word eminence, which I really love the main definition. Fame or recognized superiority. Recognized superiority. Notice superiority on its own is not enough. Superiority is not going to get you there. Being awesome and amazing, and I get a standing ovation, and I get 5 pieces of spin-off business from every keynote, and that's great. But outside of that room, do people recognize your superiority? So fame or recognized superiority, especially within a particular sphere or profession. Now, the problem is, in the general marketplace, there is the world and there is you, and this is the obscurity gap. All of our buyers are overwhelmed, lazy, busy, and befuddled. They don't have time. They get 50 phone calls a day, 300 emails, and they're in meetings from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Most successful business executives, C-level prospects, CEOs, etc. CEOs, senior VPs, EVPs, etc. So that's their problem. On our side of the cliff, our problem is that we are, unless we do something about it, we are, for all intents and purposes, invisible, uncredible, isolated, and easily interchangeable, which I mentioned earlier. They're interchangeable with other people who do what you do and other people who look like they do what you do. And then add into that AI. And the question here around AI survivability, to what extent can your expertise be replaced by AI? I have a very easy answer that you need to write down that will make you AI survivable regardless of what comes next. And by the way, no one knows what's coming next. If they tell you they know what's coming next, they are talking out of their hat, and they're wearing a hat under their pants also. So the top 5%, the people that are really dialing this in and getting this right, they are sharing 3 kinds of content: in email, on LinkedIn, in videos, in books. They're sharing how to think, what to believe, and where to focus to get ready for what's coming next. So how to think is it's a strategic conversation. It's about insight. It's about being a sage. What to believe separates the myths from the truths, separates the self-soothing delusions from the actual reality as you are describing it based on your expertise, based on your experience, based on your thought leadership platform, and then where to focus for what's coming next. High-level people, they hate being surprised. They hate being ambushed. So what you're sharing, how can you help them focus, see around corners, get ready for what's coming next so that they're never surprised, blindsided, or ambushed? And if you can do that, you automatically go from commodity speaker to trusted advisor and sage. And that's what you really want. You want trusted advisor status and you want sage status. That you're not just sharing commodity, same-o, lame-o nonsense. The danger zone, what everyone else is doing, is they're still sharing how to Me Too content. I'm telling you, as of this moment, as of this meeting tonight, how-to content for everyone that is watching this right now and or watching the replay, if you're getting the replay. How-to content is dead. How-to content is finished. Stick a fork in it. It is done, because there's nothing that AI does better than how-to content. It has the entirety of human knowledge on the internet to pull the how-to content from. And you think you can compete with that? Plus, more bad news, AI is instant, perfect, and free. Instant, perfect, and free. Instant, yes. Free, yes, unless, $20 a month, but that's essentially free. And perfect, it's perfect if you don't care about math, facts, or science, because it's still not good at those three things. But it will be. It will be. And so why are you competing with instant, perfect, and free, where the top of the market is hungry for and dying to get their hands on your perspectives, your opinions, how to think, what to believe, and where to focus for what's coming next? So think about this as signal to noise ratio. The signal is over here on the right, the noise, and it's getting noisier every day, every hour of every day. Right now, if you're trying to compete with that noise on the left, it's going to be really hard to pick you out of a crowd. Where we want you, and if you do these things that we're going to talk about here, these three different kinds of differentiation and distinction, and we'll also roll up our sleeves and work on this during the implementation lab portion of tonight, you are going to be on the right-hand side of this signal to noise ratio. A lot of white space, a lot of attention, a lot of clarity, and you are not going to be lost in that noise, and you will be one of the clear bellwethers and beacons of wisdom and sage advice in your topic, in your niche, and in your industry. So I want you to let go of the idea of better. There is always going to be a better speaker. There's always going to be a better consultant. There's always going to be a better coach. And also, better is a game you can't win, because better according to who and better according to what? What are the criteria, right? It's completely subjective. So everyone claims to be better, and there is no evidence of any kind that's meaningful to any prospect, to any economic buyer. So I want you to move away from focusing on that, and I want you to move to different. Because different people can feel in their bones. Different people can look at, when they look at the most recent copy of your Substack newsletter. Different they can tell when they go to the homepage of your website. Different they can tell when they go to your LinkedIn profile. Different they can tell when they watch your 3-minute speaker sizzle reel. Different lands in a way that will attract some people, and it will violently repel others. Let me repeat that, and I want you to please write that down as well. That you're doing this right when you are attracting the exact people that you want to do business with and who would be great clients for you, and you are just as strongly, maybe even more strongly, repelling the people that are the bad fits and that you would never want in your audience, that you would never want as your clients, that you would never want to consult or coach or train or speak for. So the entire concept here is that we're going to turn you from nice, comfortable, safe, vanilla, because nice, comfortable, safe, and vanilla is not going to cut it anymore. And we are going to focus on 3 key concepts: contrarian, being more contrarian, having shift beliefs content, not how-to content, but content that shifts beliefs, and especially in those 3 areas that we talked about. So how to think, what to believe, and how to get ready for what's coming next. That's your contrarian, belief-shifting point of view. And then generating distinction in the marketplace. So this is the table of contents of the Market Eminence book. I would love to sit here and read it to you, but that would be an incredibly boring presentation. So instead of that, I'm going to pull out the 3 most valuable keys and give you immediately actionable things you can start to think about and start to write down and start to create and start to do. This affects everything, by the way. This is not a little side thing. This is not a little, oh, hey, I was at this NSA Northwest meeting. There was this crazy guy, David Newman, and, took a few pages of notes, and you stick that back in the drawer. This affects everything from now on: what you say and how you say it, what you do and how you do it, so that you finally get the recognition that you deserve and the clients that you really, really, really do your very best work with. So my first entree into this whole exploration is the question, who are you disturbing? This particular slide I use in my non-NSA presentations. Sometimes in my NSA presentations, I actually say, who are you pissing off? It's like, ooh, oh, that's strong language, Newman. It's like, okay. So listen, you can disturb them, you can piss them off, you can upset them, you can terrify them, you can terrorize them. But the idea is, who are you disturbing? I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One you probably know, one you probably don't. So one you probably know is our friend Larry Wingett. And Larry is the best way I can describe Larry. Some of you already know him and you're shaking your heads going, oh yeah, he's out there. He first came to fame with his best-selling book, Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life. Not exactly your average motivational speaker. Go for the brass ring. You can do it. I believe in you. It's like, no, you're an idiot, and let me tell you why. So his other books, of course, that you see pictured here, You're Broke Because You Want to Be. That's a fun title. It's called Work for a Reason. My favorite one of his books is not in this screenshot. It is called Your Kids Are Your Own Damn Fault. Your kids are your own damn fault. So think about the meeting planner, the conference producer, the corporate executive that comes across Larry, comes across the website, sees him speak somewhere. They are either going to be, oh my God, I've never seen a guy like this. This is amazing. I got to bring him in to talk to our entire team. I got to bring him into our next national event. I got to bring him into our sales conference. Other people like, oh my God, that was horrible. That guy was rude, abusive, abrasive, bald, and he's wearing a shirt that is costs more than my monthly salary. And he is wearing these handmade cowboy shirts that are more than most corporate executives' monthly salary. So that's option number one. Option number two, you do not need to be famous. You do not even need to be a speaker necessarily. My client, Gary Markle, is a performance management expert. And the area of performance reviews, HR, that whole thing. His whole stance is performance reviews are broken. They're broken, they're stupid, they don't work. You got to tear up your performance management form. It is an enormous waste of time. He's got a program called No More Performance Evaluations. He replaces it with a process that he's written about in his book called Catalytic Coaching. He comes from a big Fortune 500 HR background. Can you imagine some of these HR executives? They love their performance management form. They love their performance management process. They want to hire a performance management consultant to come in and fix our process and upgrade our skills and teach our executives how to give that performance management feedback with skill and love and care, and how to get people's performance up to where it needs to be using performance reviews. And they would never in a million years hire Gary Markle. There are other CEOs and VPs of HR. They're like, oh my God, finally, this guy's telling the truth. Performance management, performance reviews, enormous waste of time. Employees hate getting them. The only thing worse is managers who hate giving them. The entire system is funky, broken, sad. I wish we could toss it out the window. And Gary says, let me show you how to toss it out the window and make the end result, get the same end result that you want, much better, much easier, much faster, and without people hating the process every minute of the process. So my question for you, my friends, given those two examples, who are you pissing off? Who are you disturbing? And I don't care what the answer is, as long as the answer isn't nobody. I'm not pissing anybody off. I'm in the middle of the road. Can I share a secret? I'm gonna share a secret. My screen went away on purpose that time because I want to see your smiling face when I share this with you. Roadkill. Roadkill. You know where roadkill is? Roadkill is in the middle of the road. It's right on those double yellow lines. That's where you get hit if you're roadkill, right? The ones that are off in the bushes, the ones that are off in the margins, the ones that are off, up on the hillside, grazing where the good grass is, they're not roadkill. So the fastest way to become roadkill is just keep playing it safe in the middle of the road. So you don't want to do that. Gary Markle didn't do that. Larry Wingett didn't do that. And I don't want you to be doing that either. So the real question is, who are you disturbing? And if the answer is nobody, you want to maybe re-examine some things, change some things up. So let's get to our first mental exercise, and we'll have some time to dig into this during the implementation part of our show here this evening. So I'm going to ask you, there's three sets of three areas that I said are the three key areas out of getting your Market Eminence playbook written and done, and you can start implementing it. In those three areas, I've given you 4 questions for each one. The first question is, what conventional wisdom in your field do you secretly think is completely wrong, but have never publicly challenged? Second one, if your biggest competitor were to steal one aspect of your approach tomorrow, which element would hurt most to lose because it is so central to how you stand out? And again, if the answer is, oh, they could steal anything, it wouldn't really matter because I'm just like everybody else, then we have a problem. Number 3, what harsh truth about your industry or your target market for that matter, but what harsh truth about your industry are clients desperate for someone to finally acknowledge openly, like your kids are your own damn fault, or performance reviews are broken, silly, stupid, and they don't work anyway? What harsh truth about your industry are clients desperate for someone to finally acknowledge openly? And then finally, question number 4 in category number 1, what strong point of view do you already hold? Notice already. What do you already hold that makes industry insiders uncomfortable, like competitors, maybe other speakers, maybe even some audience members that you would never want to do business with, but resonates deeply with your ideal clients? Not with everybody. Let's be clear on this. Resonates deeply with your ideal clients. Ideal clients. Remember, repel the bad fits, super magnetize the good fits. Now, of course, you can't do any presentation in 2025 without a chat GPT prompt. So Mr. John Chen, CSP, he and I were playing with this earlier. He had a great time with it. You'll have time to play with this also in the implementation portion. But this is a great chat GPT prompt, especially if you've already set up your history and you've got a lot of prompts going where you've used chat GPT specifically. So it kind of knows your DNA. So the prompt is, using everything you know about my methodology, training, and tools, give me a series of 10 contrarian, crazy idea headlines I can use to convey my true distinction, differentiation, and point of view. This should be polarizing in that it strongly attracts the right clients and strongly repels the wrong ones. Now, second area to work on, and you can work on this too if you want during our implementation time, knowing the future of your industry. And remember, I just said a few minutes ago, nobody knows the future of your industry. So if nobody knows the future of your industry, you might as well know the future of your industry. Here's the deal, by the way. I'm just going to do another little pause here. It's like, why is future casting your target market, your industry, your speaking topic, expertise, why is that important? Every high-level buyer, every association executive, every meeting planner, every corporate executive, every corporate prospect, they are, this is such a time of uncertainty, turbulence, and disruption. You could do 10 predictions for the future of procurement. If you're in procurement, let's say that's your target market. God bless you. I'm not sure how you keep awake, but let's say it's procurement. The 10 biggest trends impacting procurement in 2026. And you can research this and you can get all kinds of input, but really this is the world according to you. This is the world according to you. When you publish that, if that's your next newsletter, if that's your next LinkedIn post, think of the traction that would get. Let's fast forward now to the middle of 2026. 6 of those predictions that you made back in September of 2025, 6 of them did not come to pass or came to pass very, very differently. 4 of them you were spot on. Do you seriously think anyone's going to go back in your LinkedIn history and go, let me see what Bill Staten said back in September of 25, even though it's now June of 26? Maybe Bill's mom, maybe me, I don't know, maybe Ron Rail. I don't know. I don't know who's going to go back and look at Bill Staten. But the answer is nobody. So there is only upside to being the future caster. There is no downside. People go, well, David, what if I'm wrong? Well, David, what if I don't have 17 data points to back this up? This is the world according to you. This is the world according to Ben and Ann and John and Mayra, and this is the world according to all of us. So you have a lens, you have a perspective, you have recommendations, biases, and opinions that need to go into this future-pacing type of content. So let's talk about what that looks like. So the industry future snapshot. What bold prediction about your industry or your target market would make your competitors uncomfortable if you publicly stated it? How are your clients, their needs, or their preferences changing? What current industry practice do you see going on the dinosaur heap first? And what evidence or what clues do you already see that supports that prediction? And again, this does not have to be quantitative data, right? These are qualitative predictions, trends, and analysis on your part based on your personal experience, expertise, and platform. Final one, if you were advising a client making a 3-year strategic plan, what one emerging trend would you tell them that they absolutely cannot ignore? Now, the third and final set of 4 questions is the brand influence tracker. These 4 questions list the changes. So write down 3 important shifts happening in your target market right now. Example, more clients are worried about AI. Pick your position for each change, decide how you're going to tackle it. I will embrace this, meaning it fits your strengths. You're going to amplify, magnify, preach it, shout it from the rooftops. I'm going to challenge this. So you see a different path and you are going to bust that myth. You are going to correct that misconception. You are going to write that partial truth into the factual reality. And then number three, third option is I'll offer a fresh perspective, which is the yes and option. So yes, that's happening, but it's going to have a different impact, or I have a unique angle on how that's going to play out. And then I want you to take action for each of those positions, plan out one concrete step. Create something helpful like an article, a checklist, or a simple guide. Choose where to share it, LinkedIn, industry event, customer email, and then set a deadline. Set a date to do it in the next 30 days. Don't just sit on this idea, someday, maybe, gosh, if I was brave, I would write about that. But literally put a push pin in the calendar and make it happen. A couple more things here as we're coming in to land the plane. I want you to look at every piece of content that you put out. Every LinkedIn post, every blog, every newsletter, every page on your website. I want to ask yourself, would it pass the black marker test? The black marker test is, I take a black Sharpie, I black out your name, I black out the logo, and could I tell that that is still your voice, your content, your perspective, and your point of view? Or would it be like every other leadership speaker, every other customer service speaker, every other innovation speaker, every other motivational speaker, every other AI speaker? By the way, speaking of AI speakers, where the hell did all these AI speakers come from suddenly? Like, everyone's an AI speaker. Have you noticed this? It's weird. It's weird. These people that used to do, like, I don't know what, mosaic and caustic collage. I don't know what they used to do, but now they're AI speakers. It's amazing. It's amazing. Used to be that, those who can't do, teach. Now it's those who can't do, teach AI. I know there's an AI speaker in here that I just pissed off. It's okay. It's okay. I love you no matter what. It's all good. You're probably one of the real ones. You're probably one of the real ones. All right. But I want you to look different, sound different, and be different. The worst case scenario, when you find out that you are doing everything wrong, right? When you find a cliche, when you don't pass that black marker test, worst case scenario is do a drinking game where for every cliche, for every phrase, for every sound bite that you see on some other speaker's website, you take a quick sip of nice bourbon. You will not get a lot more done that day, but you will have a wonderful afternoon of cruising around your competitive scan and see who's out there saying the exact same things and using the exact same words. Now, you will get extra credit. You will get extra credit from me, from NSA, from whomever. I'm not sure who's assigning extra credit these days, but you will get extra credit if you can put a holy crap moment somewhere out there. Could be your next LinkedIn post, could be your next email subject line, could be something that goes on your one sheet, could be something that goes on your website. But if you can really upset the apple cart, if you can really go against the grain, if you can really sharply, strongly, and clearly stand out in your area of expertise, you will get extra credit. Not just extra credit from me, but you will get extra credit from your buyers. You will get extra credit from leads, prospects, sales, and deals that you would not otherwise have gotten. So that's what we're really aiming for. That's the holy grail is the holy crap moment. That's funny because crap doesn't really start with a dollar sign, but anyway. All right, all of this is to encourage you. The world is full of enough vanilla ice cream. You do not want to be vanilla ice cream. You deserve better. Now, to make this absolutely real, we are going to do something called the $2 test. The $2 test, and if you remember the top of this presentation, I did specifically say that life rewards action. Life rewards action. So I'm going to encourage you, either you can scan the QR code if you're a Venmo person. I'd like you to Venmo or PayPal me $2 right now. If you want to use PayPal, the link is simply paydavidnow.com. I got to tell you guys, you saved me a whole bunch of time. Usually this is like pulling teeth. But allow me to, well, let me ask. I'm going to ask a few people to just do me a quick favor and check your Venmo. The rest of you I will catch up with. But I want Nikki and Bill Stainton and Sonia Price to tell me a little bit about what they see in their Venmo right now.
I just made money.
Yes, you did. What showed up in your Venmo?
You just paid me $10.
Yes, I did. Crazy. Nikki Malcolm, what's happening in your Venmo?
I was also paid $10.
Oh, this is incredible. Sonia Price, what's in your Venmo?
I also got $10.
So this literally is like 5 minutes of me pulling teeth in most audiences. So I guess this is good, but let me walk you through the lesson here. And yes, we're going to cut it off now because I don't want to go broke. But all the people that initially sent the $2, you will also get $10. And let me explain to you why that is and what this means about your market eminence. So like I said, thank you for playing along. That's kind of fun. Here's the spectrum. Here's the spectrum, right? Hey, I'm selling something. I'm pitching you. I want you to buy my speech, my consulting, my course, my program. I'm selling something. Okay, well, that's like everybody else. No, I'm really selling something valuable. Okay, sure, that's just like everybody else. I'm selling something valuable that you don't trust, although some people are perhaps a little bit too trusting on this call, but I love you and thank you, and you'll be richly rewarded for your trust. Here's the difference. When we cross this bridge, I'm selling something valuable that you do trust. And then finally, I'm selling something valuable that you immediately see what it is, you want it, and you fight hard to get it. When you have true market eminence, you are going down that continuum to I am selling something valuable that you immediately see, want, and fight hard to get. Now, if we have a little bit more time, and perhaps we can discuss this during the implementation part, I sometimes ask a live audience, not that you're not live. I sometimes ask an in-person audience, what are some of the other lessons? And there's always some wiseacre because, of course, I usually go through, and I say, okay, well, so Jocelle and John Chen and Chalet and Sonia and Lisa and etc. They do the math and they go, so I say, what else did you learn? And they say, we learned that you lost $70 right now. It's like, no, I didn't lose $70 right now. It's called teaching, my friends. It's called teaching. It's called paying it forward. So when we get to that part, no one needs to, add up that I lost $70 because technically it was only $60, right? Because I got the 2 and it's 5 times 2. And anyway, so there's more lessons, more good lessons to extract from this one. Thank you for playing, and I shudder to think what my PayPal looks like. I didn't even check the PayPal people, but don't worry, we'll get to you. The overall concept here, my friends, and we're going to get to work on this together here in a little bit, from the great business philosopher, Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, one of his favorite quotes that I have, one of my favorite quotes of his, is you do not merely want to be the best of the best. Because remember, we talked about there's no trying to be the best. There's no objective measure for that. And people can't tell. Plus, everyone claims to be the best. You want to be considered the only ones who do what you do. And that is a beautiful articulation of what this market eminence concept is all about. So you do not merely want to be the best of the best. You want to be considered to be the only ones who do what you do. And remember my litmus test earlier, when you get this dialed in, you are not only the smartest choice, you are the safest choice, and it is risky, dangerous, and dumb to hire anybody else. It is risky, dangerous, and dumb to hire anybody else. So I don't know who your next deep dive speaker is, but for God's sakes, don't give them money. That's a crazy thing to do. So don't give them money. I'm glad you gave me money and you'll be richly rewarded. But the next person, whew,